We bring you the morning edition of MBC News with me, Ubile Kaisa. The headlines. Southern Africa Development Community SADC calls for fresh elections in Madagascar. MBC commits to a transformed public service broadcaster. And Dr. Victoria Bobby's murder suspects demonstrate how they committed the crime. And now the news in detail. The extraordinary summit of heads of state and government of the Southern Africa Development Community SADC has called for the holding of fresh elections in Madagascar. SADC chairperson and president of South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa, said the decision was reached at the conclusion of the summit, where member states agreed to support efforts aimed at restoring peace and stability in Madagascar, which is currently facing political instability. President Ramaphosa made the remarks at the end of the virtual summit of SADC heads of state and government, and Malawi was represented at the meeting by Vice President Dr. Nacala, who was delegated by President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika. Austin Fugula reports.
According to a communique read at the end of the summit, SADC wants the transitional government in Madagascar to facilitate fresh elections to enable the democratic election of a new leader. During the meeting, South African President Cyril Ramaphosa, who had been serving as the interim chairperson, was duly elected as a chairperson of SADC. In his closing remarks, Ramaphosa said member states had agreed to engage all stakeholders in Madagascar to ensure peace and stability are restored. He further called on the people of Madagascar to embrace peace, unity, and reconciliation as a way of ending the ongoing political instability which began in September this year.
We further call on the transitional government to ensure that the reform processes that need to be embarked upon are timely, that they are inclusive of all stakeholders, and that they should create a conducive environment in which all the people of Madagascar can contribute meaningfully to the dialogue. This must be a Madagascar-owned and led dialogue. For it is the people of Madagascar who must find their own solutions.
In her remarks, Vice President Justice Dr. Nacala assured Malawi's support for the SADC chairmanship. She also commended the Joint Fact-Finding Mission for its comprehensive analysis of the political and security situation in Madagascar. Meanwhile, the SADC Secretariat has commended President Mutharika, chairperson of the SADC organ on politics, defense and security cooperation, for his role in promoting peace and stability in the SADC region. The extraordinary summit of heads of state and government opened with a call for member states to find lasting solutions to the political instability in Madagascar. The virtual extraordinary SADC summit was held under the theme Advancing Industrialization, Agricultural Transformation, and Energy Transition for a Resilient SADC. Austin Fukula, MBC News, Lilongwe.
Saudi Fund for Development is set to provide a $15 million co-financing towards the Blantyre District Hospital project. This announcement was made on December 17, 2025, during a meeting between Malawi's Minister of Finance and Special Envoy to the Gulf Nations, Joseph Mwanamveka. The Deputy Chief Executive Officer for the Saudi Fund for Development, Faizo Al-Katan, has expressed interest in co-financing with the Kuwait Fund for the construction of the Blantyre District Hospital. The Saudi Fund is committed to supporting health infrastructure as they previously supported the construction of Palombe District Hospital. In his remarks, Mwanamveka highlighted the significant role played by the Saudi Fund for the development in projects being undertaken in the country. Later, Mwanamveka met with Saudi Arabia's Assistant Minister of Finance, Abdullah bin Zara, and discussed support for Malawi in the areas of macroeconomics, stabilization, fiscal consolidation, including debt restructuring and tax revenue. The minister also thanked the government and people of Saudi Arabia for the support towards Malawi's infrastructure development through the Saudi Fund for Development. The 10th tripartite meeting of the Nacala Development Corridor Management Committee is underway in Maputo, Mozambique, bringing together delegations from Malawi, Mozambique and Zambia to review progress and advance cooperation on regional trade and transport. Leader of the Mozambican delegation, Fernando Sebastiano Oana, emphasized the strategic importance of the Nacala corridor to all three countries.
We are meeting as Malawi and Mozambique and Zambia to discuss on the development of Nacala corridor. Nacala is a strategic corridor for Malawi, for Zambia and Mozambique, and all the three countries are meeting here to discuss on how to improve their operations on the Nacala corridor. We have a challenge to upgrade the rail line in Malawi and to build a new rail in Zambia to make a connection from Nacala port up to Zambia. So this is the main challenge we have to make the corridor smoother and very competitive, and that has all the outcomes on the economy and the society.
Director of Policy and Planning in the Ministry of Transport and Public Works, John Bosco Piri, explained that the tripartite meetings are rooted in a high-level agreement among the three countries with an overarching goal of transforming the region.
You will recall in Malawi there's the Rwonde Mataware that is starting this December to be rehabilitated. The whole idea is to ensure that movement of cargo to the port and from the port to Malawi and Zambia is smooth. By smooth, it means it's being moved at reasonable cost. Reasonable cost because we're using a multimodal approach, which is using both rail and road. Where necessary, we're using road. Where necessary, we're using rail. As you remember, rail is relatively cheaper. We have made other improvements like construction of one-stop border posts. The Zabuka now is using a one-stop border approach initiative, which streamlines the activities of the border. The whole idea is that all the border agents are well coordinated so that their activities do not lead to more costs, but everything should be done speedily so that we reduce costs.
Minister of Local Government and Rural Development Ben Piri has urged the Malawi Local Government Association MALGA to capacitate council chairs and council authorities in the management of the Constituency Development Fund, CDF, to ensure that such funds benefit communities when they are dispersed. Piri made the remarks in Lilongwe during the 2025 Local Government Authorities Extraordinary General Assembly and the validation workshop of MAGLA's strategic plan. Details in this report by Lonjezo Msodoka.
The Malawi Local Government Association MAGA was established to help the government of Malawi realize and sustain the decentralization agenda by informing and guiding national policy on decentralization and local development activities in the country. Speaking during the meeting, Minister of Local Government and Rural Development Ben Piri said strategic plans are vital to any institution's vision. He assured full support to the district councils and called for effective collaboration in their work to bring positive change, regardless of political party affiliation. Piri further urged MAGA to build capacity on the Constituency Development Fund for effective implementation of the fund.
As it stands now, there is an imbalance between the oversight and the executive. You will find that you have got a councillor A who has got to provide oversight to Officer B, but in terms of academic qualification and understanding of issues, they are way apart. It is easy, therefore, for the Secretariat to bulldoze, to hoodwink, and to do whatever they want to do because they will ride on the maybe for lack of better word, lack of understanding of certain issues. That's why I was encouraging MAGA and indeed stakeholders as we devolve the money to capacitate the oversight responsibilities.
On her part, Executive Director of MAGA, Hadrod Nkandawire, said the strategic plan also focuses on building the capacity of council chairs, mayors and other relevant stakeholders in promoting decentralization and local governance, including the effective management of CDF.
After it's validated and adopted, is to translate that strategic direction into programming. And we'll sit down with the Minister of Local Government after we come up with an action plan, how best we can have the aspiration of a strategic plan on capacity and enhancement realized. We're also looking at possibly coming up with a replica program of what was taking place at Parliament, Parliamentary Support Program. We can have a replica of the same, where we come up with a comprehensive package, capacity building, to handhold the council members for them to be able to provide meaningful oversight on public finance management and service delivery, and also to the technical staff, what are the gaps that are there that they need to be enhanced for them to be able to enhance their performance.
The Constituency Development Fund, CDF, was one of the key issues discussed during the 52nd parliamentary session. The two-day meeting brought together mayors, chairpersons, district commissioners, chief executive officers and other delegates from local government authorities across the country. Lonjeson Sodoka, NBC News, Lilongwe.
The Acting Director General of the Malawi Broadcasting Corporation, MBC, Moses Chiwoni, says Malawians should expect a transformed public broadcaster committed to serving the nation with improved news and programming. Chiwoni made the remarks at MBC's Kwasha Studios in Blantyre, where he unveiled his vision for the state broadcaster. He said the transformation of MBC would be driven by teamwork and a shared commitment among staff to reposition the institution for the better. He explains.
The mandate that we have been given from the authorities that we should be able to transform MBC. MBC, as you might know, the image has been dented in the past because of the programming content that we are broadcasting. So now we would want to regain the trust of the Malawian public. So in order to do that, we really need to transform. That can only happen if we our programming is of higher standards, and our staff are able to maintain professionalism. They are of high integrity. So I just wanted to emphasize this to the staff to ensure that as we work each and every day, we should be striving towards transforming the image of MBC so that we should regain the public trust and ensure that the Malawians out there are able to fully enjoy and get entertained. They are able to be informed and as well as to be educated from the programming that we produce. It's very, very important that our journalists are professional, because that is what Malawians out there are expecting from us.
You're watching NBC News. A reminder of our top stories. Southern Africa Development Community SADC calls for fresh elections in Madagascar. MBC commits to a transformed public service broadcaster. And Dr. Victoria Bobby's murder suspects demonstrate how they committed the crime. Welcome back. The Malawi Judiciary has renewed its agreement with the Malawi Broadcasting Corporation, MBC, to continue airing Kotilanga program on MBC platforms. Speaking during the signing of the agreement, Chief Justice Rizini Mzikamanda, SC, said there is significant improvement on how the public understand court processes and operations. Secret Segula with the details.
Speaking to MBC, Chief Justice Rizini Mzikamanda said they have seen an improvement on how the populace perceives the courts since they signed the agreement with MBC. Mzikamanda added that the courts promote the open justice system as a way of demystifying the misconceptions about the court's proceedings.
The programs that the Malawi Broadcasting Corporation produces and broadcasts to the people about how the courts operate have really helped in demystifying the courts. there were lots of misconceptions about what we do in the courts. And some of the anger that comes against the courts are based on those misconceptions. But with this 1 year experience, we have seen that some of the misconceptions have been corrected.
Taking his turn, Acting Director General for Malawi Broadcasting Corporation, Moses Chiwoni, said as a public broadcaster, they will keep Malawians informed about the court proceedings through its platforms.
We have plans to increase more programming because as of now we are mostly doing the program Kotilatu, but we would want to ensure that we have more programming, and even in terms of news content we would also want to get more from the partnership that we are going to have with the judiciary. So we expect that the public should be able to get more information, more news pertaining to how the courts operate.
The agreement stipulates that the judiciary is to provide content for the Kotilatu program, while MBC provides airtime for the 30-minute program on TV and Radio 1. The first agreement was signed on 23rd September last year. Secret Segula, MBC News, Blantyre.
6 people suspected of murdering Dr. Victoria Bobe, a doctor at Queen Elizabeth Central Hospital as well as a lecturer at the Kamuzu University of Health Sciences, KUHES, were taken to the late Bobe's house in Chigumula Township in Blantyre to demonstrate how they accessed the place. The demonstration was led by Christopher Pangeti from Southwest Police Region. Charles Bensul accompanied the team and he now reports.
On a Tuesday, the Malawi Police Service released a statement stating that they have managed to arrest 6 out of the 8 suspected criminals who shot dead Dr. Victoria Bobe at her residence in Chigumula, Blantyre. The suspects are Rafael Nsalanyama, aged 35, who is an ex-police officer and former intelligence officer from Gaza province in Mozambique. The other 5 are Malawians, namely Isa Ali, aged 47, from Traditional Authority Jalasin Mangochi, 34-year-old Santos Chamamba, from Traditional Authority Ndamira in Nsanje, Maxwell Eria, aged 52, from Traditional Authority Chimombo in Nsanje, 62-year-old Charles Chikafa of Traditional Authority Chigalu in Blantyre, and 50-year-old Peter Chimenya of Traditional Authority Likoswe in Chiradzulu. Later on Wednesday, the police paraded the 6 to the crime scene to demonstrate how they managed to access the place. When they arrived, the suspects first identified the house and said the mission started in the night. Then 2 of them told the police that they were left outside the brick fence, mainly at the main gate, to alert their friends who were inside in case some people were passing by. The other 2 took the police behind the fence, where they narrated how they drilled a hole through the brick fence to access entry. According to them, they used screwdrivers and metal bars when drilling the hole. The remaining 2 suspects, including the Mozambican ex-police officer, were the ones suspected to have pulled the trigger. When asked the motive behind the shooting, the suspects said it was not their intention to kill, but they wanted to steal. They, however, did not say much on how they ended up shooting Dr. Bobe. After the parade, the suspects were brought back to Limbe Police, where they are being kept. However, some people, including neighbors for the late Dr. Victoria Bobe, demanded the immediate release of the suspects so that they deal with them. But the police, who were in their large numbers, managed to quell the situation. Late Dr. Victoria Bobe, who was also a doctor at Queen Elizabeth Central Hospital in Blantyre, was shot dead on the night of 17th November this year. Meanwhile, the Malawi police say investigations are ongoing to arrest 2 remaining suspects and recover the stolen property, including the rifle believed to be in Mozambique. During the crime, a MacBook Pro 11 laptop, an iPad 10th generation, and an NBS POS machine were stolen and have not yet been recovered. Charles Bensulo, MPC News, Blantyre.
Born with the inability to walk on her own, a 16-year-old student at Chola Secondary School, Memory Chimpamba, laments that despite several interventions the school has put in place to aid her academic journey, she still faces challenges in her day-to-day life at the school. Details in this report by Alofisha Fisher, read by Telson Magombo.
Memory, who is in Form 2 at the school, may not achieve her dream of becoming a pharmacist as she continues to grapple with the challenge of lack of disability-friendly infrastructure. This hinders her mobility as she uses a wheelchair to move around the school campus. This, she said, makes it hard for her to access various sections of the school campus, including the library. She explained that if all these challenges were to be solved, there is a likelihood of finishing her studies so that she can be a role model to other girls with disabilities in the country.
Even though there are some challenges, I'm still working hard amidst the struggles to fulfill my dreams of becoming a pharmacist. What I would like is to see an improvement in disability-friendly infrastructure around the school campus and also financial assistance to help pursue my dreams.
While acknowledging Memory's concerns, Minister of Gender, Children, Disability and Social Welfare Mary Navicha reaffirms government's commitment towards addressing challenges being faced by students with disabilities so that they can enjoy their education.
The President has assured us that we should include everyone, regardless the disability, the tribal, where he is coming from, but we should work with everyone. We should work together as a nation. And as you are aware that we had a month-long awareness month where we had various activities. We have spread our message to the nation that we should also consider those with disabilities. And at the same time, we have given 4 years to those owners of the buildings, particularly public buildings. People with disabilities should have access to hospitals, schools, banks, markets, even offices. So I would like to encourage those with public buildings to make sure that their houses, their buildings are accessible to our friends with disabilities.
If the country continues building schools with no disability-friendly infrastructure, dreams of Memory Chimpambas of this world will keep on being put into jeopardy and squeezed into a tight corner with no place to blossom.
Democratic Progressive Party DPP Regional Governor for the North, Christopher Mzomera, has urged party leaders in the region to remain steadfast as the party is implementing development projects which the party promised during campaign. Mzomera made the remarks when he met all party leaders, including those that lost during the 16 September elections. Hassan Piri reports.
In his address to the party leaders, DPP Regional Governor for the North, Christopher Mzomera, said those that lost as councillors and members of parliament have a bigger role to play in helping the party achieve its campaign promises. He said people should not lose hope because they have not been given any position in government, as there are several other roles they can play to support Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika-led government to fulfill his party's manifesto to the people of Malawi.
Some of these people will be incorporated in the region and in various party positions. And as you have seen, that some of these people have been appointed in different boards, which means the Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika and his government, they will still be considering them to put them in various positions so that they can also participate to save the people of Malawi in different categories.
Member of Parliament from Zuzu City Southeast, William Kaweche, held the party for organizing the meeting, saying it will help to promote unity among the party members and in the process, development will be achieved.
DPP is a development party, it's not a political party. So I'm assured and I'm sure with my constituents that DPP would do something significant from, I can say, previous government.
Among the popular items in the Democratic Progressive Party DPP manifesto is the 5 billion Kwacha Constituency Development Fund, which several experts have touted as a game changer that will help to transform constituencies. Hassan Piri, MBC News, Mzuzu.
In entertainment, veteran music producer Taps Bandawe has described music production in the year 2025 as a mixed bag, saying the quality of recording has gone up while creativity from artists has gone down. He says this has contributed to the country's failure to penetrate the international market. Simeon Boyce with the details.
I am here at the Audio Vision 360 production studio in Blantyre, which is owned by veteran producer that's Taps Bandawe. During the year, he has been behind a lot of projects. It includes Abale, the Wanderers supporter. He produced some of the songs which were done by Abale. I'm here at his studio to get more about this production and maybe to give an analysis of 2025 in terms of music production. How have we performed in terms of music production in 2025?
In terms of music production and in terms of music in general, I think we've performed okay, in the sense that I believe that the quality of music production went up, but I believe also that the creativity went down. I'll go into depth with that, but also the biggest thing was, I believe there was more finance, more ambassadorships, etc. internally. But still, guys, we don't have an international star on an international level. And I think that we're not taking that seriously enough. Jah Praise filled up a stadium in South Africa. You know, and we are happy to still be going to other countries and playing in small little halls for other Malawians. So we have to do better. On the plus side, I would say that, like I say, the quality of music did very well. Creativity, I would say that there's a nice, slowly coming towards a more Malawian sound, which is what I've always advocated for. Yeah, so we've got everything.
Well, that item concludes this edition of MBC News. A reminder of our top stories before we leave. Southern Africa Development Community SADC calls for fresh elections in Madagascar. MBC commits to a transformed public service broadcaster. And Dr. Victoria Bobby's murder suspects demonstrate how they committed the crime. Keep up to date with our news coverage on our digital pages by scanning the QR code at the top right corner of your TV screen. You are with me, Opile Kaisa. Thanks for watching. Have a lovely day.